Now, given that With Love Meghan Season 2 already went through 7 failed test screenings, consecutively speaking, we know that there's a lot of issues going on over at Netflix HQ, not just between both CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos, but also for the many executives and producers over there, really trying to essentially hide this show. That's exactly why they canceled her appearances for late night television and even morning television shows like Good Morning America, for example, and among others out there. But what's real interesting here has a lot more to do with how Meghan Markle is handling the entire situation of both the internal reviews and ratings of Season 2 and how abysmal they really are, and what looms for the critics actually displaying their valid criticism that she views as negative criticism. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle right now is that yes, we do know that she is indeed going off the rails and acting very bitter. She's been much more vocal as of late in the midst of promoting the show, in the midst of also Netflix really dialing back on their marketing campaign for this actual season. That's why you're not really seeing any TV spots or trailers for this thing on television per se, and they're really sticking more so to social media this time around. However, interestingly enough, we know one thing right now about Meghan Markle is that she is in desperate damage control when it comes to the internal ratings and reviews and the public reviews that are looming just days from now on the 26th. Let's get into this. Now, interestingly enough, we already know that Meghan Markle will try to cover up any kind of negativity going on with her actual series on Netflix. Now, with Meghan Markle still going off the rails in the middle of promoting this show and this season and her future at Netflix, one significant development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle and her furious response toward the terrible reviews for With Love Meghan Season 2, both, of course, internal reviews and the negative reviews that she expects to drop in the near future. Meghan Markle recently delivered the following. I think there is one warning I have to give everyone out there in the public right now that may not know who I am or those that want to have fun and enjoy Season 2 of my hit series. You really can't trust reviews and ratings anymore in this day and age, whether it's on social media or coming from a professional critic, because there are many examples of those on social media either review bombing something for the sake of doing so because they don't like the actor or actress or they just want to watch something fail. And so I warn everyone out there to not fall for the lies and the false narratives floating around social media that With Love Meghan is a failing project. We are dealing with a lot of false reviews in 2025 right now, and it's happening to me, and it's happening to others, and to many actors and producers and directors and even writers that try their best to create entertaining material for whatever platform that they are working on. So shame on those that want to spread negativity without any validity backing their reason to dropping a negative review or negative criticism. It's by far the definition of toxic masculinity, and here's why. Because it is mostly driven by the toxic male demographic that engages in this type of behavior. I think it would be best for everyone to just give my series a chance, even if it's one episode, to see if you enjoy it. Because review bombing as a trend is something that must stop, and changes need to be made to identify whether a review or rating is legitimate. And this goes for the studios as well, since there are way too many studio politics going on right now in this industry, and I too have dealt with this firsthand. And it can absolutely rip apart your confidence when working on a project and when you're trying to work on something as big as this. We need to create a new process of how reviews and ratings are delivered to a project, whether it's a film or a television series or whatever it may be. Now guys, let me just say one thing about Meghan Markle here. She sounds exactly like Leslie Headland of the Acolyte series, which was a Star Wars show by Disney, and when that was actually bombarded with negative reviews, and for all the right reasons, by the way, terrible show. Many, of course, would say that, yeah, it was heavily, disliked, sure, but it had great cinematography. That's what it had going for it. But all aside, when you're looking at many examples, Leslie Headland, Amandla Stenberg, who was also on that show. When you're also looking at Robert De Niro when he was trying to back his Alto Nights movie and how he claimed it was review bombed, Meghan Markle is now doing the same exact thing with this particular season and how that's really going out of control. And again, we know that Meghan Markle is going to set up any kind of narrative that she has to make it as if her show is a hit series. Note in the beginning that she called the show a hit series, right? We all know that season 1 was a ratings failure. And also, pretty much when you're looking at a financial perspective, it was indeed a financial nightmare for Netflix because of how much they invested into that contract deal with Meghan Markle, $100 million altogether, that is now finally coming to an end. They're instead going to focus on one-off projects here and there that will be labeled as inexpensive projects, low-budget projects, so to speak, in hopes that it will actually boost the ratings in a return. Now, she goes on to actually allude further. Things need to change, and they need to change fast. As a woman who is part of a diverse cast, I think that we deserve a level of respect coming from critics and viewers to create a fair and balanced take on our upcoming season. Don't ruin the experience for others and let the project speak for itself altogether, because the new trends on how reviews are received is a very murky area today in 2025, where nobody knows what is real anymore when it involves criticism toward a show or a film. Now guys, let me just say one thing about Meghan Markle real quick about that, is that the fact that she says that she deserves respect, or that women deserve respect, you don't deserve respect, you earn respect. That's basically how it is. I don't care if it's in a regular job, or those in the film industry, or the music industry, or wherever it may be, whether it's in show business in general, you know, a creator does not deserve respect. They gain or earn it. They have to earn it through their work and through their passion and how they actually display their art. So again, one thing about this yet again is that we already know that Meghan Markle is in a downward spiral right now. She doesn't really quite know what to say anymore. Than to really just say, oh, you know, all the reviews out there, all the negative criticisms surrounding, you know, this series in general is all because of review bombing, and she expects it to happen again for season 2. And again, we know that the internal ratings and reviews for the show have been an abysmal disaster, alright? We all know that the majority of the screeners, as part of the test screening process, gave it a 2.5 out of 10 on average. That is terrible, and I'm actually quite surprised that it even got that high of a 2.5. Now, she concludes, this is why our industry needs to improve and to think better on a valuable solution on how we rate products. So basically she's trying to say that we need a new system on how things are reviewed, how criticism is put across social media or even in the mainstream media at that. And look, we already know that the majority of reviews are valid, they're very much real. Very rarely do you get something so widespread that it's actually false and not real. That's just never really the case. And so we've seen this happen time and time again. They use it as a scapegoat, they use it as a part of their narrative, a part of their blame game. You know, if something fails, whether it's a TV show or a movie, they say, oh, it was review bombed. The haters are the only ones that actually reviewed this thing. And that's why you're seeing so many bad reviews, because there's a silent majority out there, guys. That's basically what people always say, whether it's Meghan Markle, Robert De Niro, Alec Baldwin, Julia Roberts, all these different celebrities out there, all these different personalities. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.